session, and we'll have a quick roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Kern?
Here.
Councilmember Feller?
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez? Here. Councilmember Feline? And Mayor Wood.
Council will meet in closed session to discuss the following items. Item 1, conference with labor negotiator on the status of negotiations involving the Oceanside Police Officers Association, Oceanside Police Management Association. Item 2, conference with real estate negotiator involving the property that is the portion of Rancho Del Oro Drive right-of-way north of State Route 78, the portion of Hamar Drive right-of-way west of College Boulevard, a portion of Ron Ortega Park, and a portion of APN 148-340-26, negotiating parties City of Oceanside, BGT Media, CBS Outdoors, Clear Channel Outdoor Incorporated, and Lamar Outdoor Advertising. Under negotiations are price and terms for the property use agreements. Item 2B, conference with real property negotiator involving the Goat Hill Golf Course, negotiating parties City of Oceanside and Goat Hill Partners LLC. Under negotiations are price and terms for the lease of the real property. Yes, do you have it? Can you hand it to me? It's not in mine. Thank you. Thank you. And then the council will also meet on item 2C, conference with real estate negotiator involving the property bounded by Pacific Street, Meyer Street, Seagaze Drive, and Civic Center Drive, Oceanside Beach Resort property. Negotiating parties SD Malkin Properties and City of Oceanside. Under negotiations are terms of a disposition agreement and lease.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We'll get started first half of the council meeting. And this will be for the December 6, 2013 Oceanside Council, Harbor District CDC. Roll call, please.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kern.
Here.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Here.
We'll mark the other two targets.
Thank you very much. We'll start off with a consent calendar, please.
Consent calendar items 3 through 9.
Thank you very much.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public by chance?
No public.
Nothing, friends? Okay. With that, please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you very much. And at your convenience, please, item 10.
Item number 10 is approval of budget appropriations from the unallocated general fund reserve in the amount of $40,000 to the Public Works Division for the maintenance of Ron Ortega Park and $10,000 to the Parks and Recreation Division for the cost of electricity for the lights at Ron Ortega Park.
Thank you. Hi, Doug, please.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Doug Eddow, Real Estate Manager, City of Oceanside. The item before you is to recommend approval of budget appropriation in the amount of $50,000 to help fund the maintenance of Ron Ortega Park, including the lights in the event that we do not get enough reimbursement money for the lights from the participants at the park. What happened back in 2010-11 in the budget year, we had some budget cuts. One of those budget cuts were to eliminate $40,000 for the maintenance of Ron Ortega Park by the Public Works Division. What we tried to do is privatize the site by getting the Oceanside American Little League, who was the only one basically using the fields, to go ahead and maintain the park. They agreed to do that. They signed a 5-year proper use agreement. Unfortunately, due to their dwindling participation, they are no longer able to afford the maintenance of the park and have terminated that agreement as of last September. I'm sorry, as of last August. So what we're trying to do is ask for $40,000, $50,000, $40,000 for the maintenance, $10,000 for the lights, to go ahead and continue to keep that park open. The Oceanside American Little League would no longer have the exclusive right to use those fields. They would have to just get in line just like anybody else in the Parks and Rec Department. Thank you.
No public.
Move approval.
I'll second, but I have a question. Doug, the idea now Oceanside Little League, when they want to use the field, are they going to pay per use on a per field, per use basis like anybody else?
Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor Kern, yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you, sir. If we may, let's please jump to 23.
Item number 23 is a quarterly budget update. Mr. Peter.
Honorable Mayor, council members, at this point, this is your quarterly budget update that you've asked to be delivered to you, and I will have our interim finance director, Mike Blazinski, walk you through the status of where we are and a couple of recommended budget modifications in both the revenue and expenditure side that we're requesting your approval for.
Thank you. Good evening.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this is going to be a very brief report today. The first quarter is normally one that we're just getting over completing year end, and most of the revenues, the way government works in the state of California and cities, the revenue comes in the second half of the year more than the first half of the year. But we will give you where we're at. Your original budgets for revenue and expenditures were $121 million with a minor surplus in the budget. You have made some budget adjustments. Basically what those were the carry forwards from last year of money. We had projects that we were completing that we did not complete, and that's the reason you see the increases. And then you also had the REACH program that you approved, and that brought in revenue and expenditures as well. So we're basically staying where we are. And as you can see by the revenue number up there, we've only collected $15 million, but don't be worried by that. That happens every single year. The expenditures are hanging tight to where they should be. We're around 23 or 24% overall, which is a quarter of the year. As the city manager mentioned, we have a few adjustments to make. The adjustments are basically all the result of one thing. There's increased building activity within the city. We have taken in a lot of fees for buildings that's taking place, and the expenditure requests are all related to providing services so that we can move quicker both through the building and the fire inspections, so these buildings can continue to go on faster. So we're increasing the revenues, of which that's probably conservative related to the fees. We've probably gotten more in, but at mid-year we'll be giving you a more complete analysis of that. And the expenditures are about the same. We got $313,000 in increased revenue budget and $363,000 in increased expenditure budget. And my last slide is we actually have no corrective budget actions, but we would like you to approve the recommended revenue and expenditure adjustments we just talked about.
Thank you, sir, and have a seat at the sidebar and see if the city manager has any more. If not, public on this?
No public.
Thank you. Back to the council. Councilmember Kern, please.
Thank you. I just, a couple of things. First of all, Michael, I know this is your last meeting, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of everybody up here for doing what you did on an interim basis. I guess we have a new finance director coming in on the 2nd of December. So they're waiting for Peter to leave so they can come on. So the idea, but I thank you, because I know I went down and had a lot of hand-holding through the budget process in this first quarter. I'm going to move approval. The thing that we're doing here is I really want to make sure that all this money we're putting into the planning building department actually relates to better service. I know there's been some bottlenecks, you know, the fire inspector things. We have a battalion chief assigned, but it seems like only people, like 2 days a week, we were getting stuff approved. So with these hourly extra helps, two things. I want to make sure that the process gets done in a timely manner. And second, that if we have a fire marshal assigned to this, that the fire marshal works full-time on this project and not some other item inside the fire department. So, and if that doesn't work, I think by the end of the year we'll ask for a reallocation of maybe moving fire marshal into building, because we have to get this stuff done. So with that, I will move approval.
There's a second.
I'll second for discussion.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm ready to approve the corrective action that is being recommended. Since I'm not the fire department chief, I would be loath to suggest that the assignments be dictated to him. I think it should be based on what needs to be done within the department. If what I'm hearing is, you know, cover these things as well, fine, but emergencies come up. I just don't want to dictate to the chief what he needs to, how he needs to get the assignments done, as long as the work gets done. So that's what I'm going to be supporting.
Thank you. Councilmember Fillion, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So all the positions are related to the expansion of the building, including the fire positions, are related to building inspections and related to development?
Honorable Mayor, council members, I'll address that. All with the exception of the senior property agent position are related to increased building activity and trying to provide services that are fee-for-service based.
And what's the need for the senior property agent?
We have been put on notice that that position, the gentleman currently occupying that position has given his intent to retire, and so we're trying to get that filled so that there be some effective transition. So long term, it will be cost neutral. We will not be replacing his position once he leaves.
Okay, so this is filling an existing position or restructuring, so it's not a net gain of employment.
That's correct.
And these other positions are temporary, or they can be? We're not making permanent, long-term employment commitments?
Some of them are permanent employees. It's based on current and projected workload and revenues coming in, and some of them are hourly extra help positions. And they're all subject, just as in the past, as development activity picks up, there's an expectation to provide those services. If development activity takes a downturn, if you recall, when we were looking at budget reductions, development services had a significant hit there because of the loss of revenue within those functional areas.
Right, yeah, I recall the cuts, and this is basically building back up in that department. And for the fire plans examiner is expected to be a permanent position, but will be justified based on the increased workload, and that workload relates to development services.
And it is completely offset by additional revenues.
Right, okay. Alrighty, thank you very much.
Thank you. Please vote.
Take place.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you. Item 21, please.
Item number 21 is request by Mayor Wood to make appointments to or motions for removal from some or all of the city's advisory groups.
Thank you very much. I put this out last week to everybody on the council. It's 3 positions. Make a motion to approve those.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any public on these?
No public on this
Thank
item.
you. Back to the council. Anybody? If not, please vote. Thank you. With that, come to city attorney's closed session.
Thank you. The council met in closed session to discuss the following items. Item 1, conference with labor negotiator on the status of negotiations involving the Oceanside Police Association and the Oceanside Police Management Association. There was discussion direction. There's no reportable action under the Brown Act. Item 2A, conference with real property negotiator involving the portion of Rancho Del Oro Drive right-of-way north of State Route 78, the portion of Hamar Drive right-of-way west of College, the portion of Ron Ortega Park identified on page 2 of the agenda, and the APN 148-340-26, negotiating parties City of Oceanside and BGT Media, CBS Outdoors, Clear Channel Outdoor Incorporated, and Lamar Outdoor Advertising. Under negotiation are price and terms for property use agreements. Again, there was discussion and direction to staff, no action to report under the Brown Act. Item 2B, conference with real estate negotiator involving the 76-acre Center City Golf property. Under negotiations are price and terms for the lease of the property, and again, there's no action to report. Council also discussed item 1.5 on the closed session agenda, addendum involving the Oceanside Beach Resort property, SD Malkin, and the City of San Diego, I'm sorry, the City of Oceanside. Under negotiations are price and terms for a disposition agreement. I guess old habits are still hard to break, sorry. No matter how many years removed, slips out every once in a while. Yeah, it's running in the family. There is no action to report on the Oceanside Beach Resort project at this time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. We're running pretty quick. Let's go to council reports, please.
Mayor Wood.
Thank you very much. I'll make mine very short. And probably at the end of the council meeting, I'd like to have a moment of silence for passing of Angela Lawrence Stonebaker, one of our dear Parks and Recreation commissioners for 16 years. She passed away recently. So I'll bring it up again at the end for a moment of silence. That's all I really have. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Curran.
Thank you. I just, a couple things. The mayor and I attended a ceremony for Carolyn Nicholson a couple weeks ago, and she was honored by the Oceanside Cultural Foundation for all her work she's done for the city of Oceanside and the Cultural Foundation. She probably gave one of the best acceptance speeches I've ever heard. I mean, it was sincere, it was eloquent, and, you know, for all the things that Carolyn's gone through in the last year, it was quite remarkable. I thought that was one, and all the credit in the world goes to Carolyn for all the work she's done for the city of Oceanside. I know she's struggling right now, but I think she's going to get through it. Councilmember Feller and I attended the Brother Benno's annual luncheon down, unfortunately it's in Carlsbad, but we attended, and it was well attended. I went to the Dia de los Muertos event out at the Mission. That gets bigger and bigger every year. I don't know, Jim, what do you estimate? Probably about 20,000. Yeah, it was like 10 to 15,000 people when I was there. I mean, it was quite crowded. Tomorrow I'm going to Newport Beach for a water conference for 2 days about water reuse, recycling. Unfortunately, I will be missing the Excellence in Education Awards dinner tomorrow night, put on by the Chamber for our Oceanside Unified School District. I just want to give a shout out to my son, who is actually up for an award tomorrow. I don't know if he'll make it, but he's up for Administrator of the Year for Oceanside Unified. So, but I won't be there. I think he's taking his mother as a date because he just had a baby 2 weeks ago, and so the wife is staying home with the baby. So he gets to take his mother. So, and then next week, in these chambers, I think at 2 o'clock, we have the Airport Master Plan workshop. I encourage people to come to see what's going on with the master plan for the Oceanside Airport. We have the Veterans Day presentation on November 11th, this coming Monday. There will be some presentations at the regular council meeting at 5 o'clock, and we'll talk more about that. The one thing, the book sale, the Friends of the Library book sale is November 16th. Everybody has to come and buy the books, because if books you don't buy, I have to schlep them and pack them in boxes, because I am one of the chief schleppers of books for the Oceanside Friends of the Library. So please come and buy your books on November 16th. There's going to be a lot of stuff there that you can buy as presents. So, I don't care. I don't care what kind of book you buy. Just buy them so I don't have to carry them. So, thank you.
Councilmember Pauline.
Actually, no report this evening.
Councilmember Feller.
Just a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to recognize Sam and Marcia Williamson. Sam, a former council member for the city of Oceanside, sitting in the back row. Marcia's knitting as always, and good to see them here. We also lost Dave DeAndrea. Would add him to the list of people we remember at the end of the meeting. And a man named Bob Kramer, Mr. Kiwanis. I mean, he was just involved in everything involved in the schools. And Bob died a month ago, but his celebration of life is Saturday morning. Bunny and I celebrated 41 years on Monday night at Ruby's at the end of the pier. And on the way back, saw all the names, the Williamsons, the Bagleys, all the names on the planks. It's a great place to go, and it's pretty cheap, so I got off the hook pretty easy there. El Camino, Oceanside, Friday night. Great crosstown rivalry. I'm sorry I have to vote to cheer for El Camino, but I know that the city of Oceanside wins every time with these crosstown rivalries. And I think that's about it. We've had birthdays. And
Do you have a time for the Bob Kramer in a place?
I think it's 10 in the morning
At?
at Mission San Luis Rey.
Okay.
Dave DeAndrea's at 3 o'clock over here on Saturday, yeah. And that's it. Thanks.
Councilmember Sanchez.
You know, this was a tough couple of weeks, because we actually had 3 of our elders in our community of Eastside pass away. One, a cousin of my dad, who he still calls Josecito, very lovingly. At 92, he every day he went to Eternal Hills to visit with his wife, who had passed away, I think something like 8 years earlier. So, and Mr. Duarte also from East Side, he passed away. Mrs. Escobedo passed away, and then Mr. DeAndre. I could not keep up with him when he was cutting up the dance floor. I've known this gentleman for a while. Wonderful, wonderful person. And he's it was hard to see him pass away too. So yeah, I also so for all of these families, those that have been mentioned as well, our heartfelt condolences to the families. Several generations, Oceansiders. These are great folks. These are our elders who pretty much had great standards of moral standards for the community, and this is why we've been able to do what we've been able to do. Folks like these, holding these kind of positions in our community. I also attended Dia de los Muertos, along with some other things that have been happening all along. Also, OHS had their Hall of Fame we inducted six additional classmates who, five of which were able to be present and speak, and they had some pretty phenomenal things to say, pretty phenomenal lives that they've been leading, and leaders in biotech and just all kinds of really wonderful things. One of the statements made by one of the gentlemen, and I'm trying to remember his name, I think it was Mr. Meisten. He said, take a stand, and I'm really proud to have that kind of tradition for Oceanside High alum. And then right after that, met with some of my classmates from class of 74 to plan our 40th reunion next year. So I just have to say that I'm really proud of our students at OHS who continue to make us proud. I'm going to be part of this program over at Maricosta for high school students this coming November 15th. And then, of course, this coming Monday, we're going to honor our veterans. Oceanside is especially the place for this. It's such a significant day for us here in Oceanside. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we cut, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a long break until 5 o'clock as we ran out of information. We have our second half. It starts at 5 o'clock, presentations, etc. However, since it's protocol, I'd like to introduce somebody in the audience, and somebody well known in the city of Ocean, Sam Williams. Sam, would you stand up, please, so we can get a, you, say hi. We haven't seen you here for a while, but I know I have the same problem. I want to introduce you as a former councilman, somebody who ran the city. Well, that's why you brought the wife along, so she could write it down for you. Anyhow, other than that, we'll adjourn until 5 o'clock. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get started as soon as our chief of police gets out of the big crowd over there.
Out of the huddle.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second half of our city council. We do things like on the consent calendar earlier. Start again. We took a little while because we had a fast first half, so we wanted to get some people in here, get some pictures, and do some things. Thank you for waiting. We normally start at 5 o'clock. If I may, could we have you have phones, pager, put them on silent or vibrate? That'll help us move on. And then we'll get started. This is kind of a special evening. We got a lot of important things and really important people here tonight. And we'll go over those things in a little while. But with that, thank you very much. From there, I'll let my aide explain what's going on. Go ahead, Valerie.
If you'd all please stand at this time for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Leading us tonight in our invocation is our City Clerk, Zach Beck, who's also the youth pastor for Gateway Community Church.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we come before you today, grateful, thankful, and hopeful for the wonderful city we live in. We seek guidance, wisdom, and discernment during our deliberations this evening, and we come together as a unique, diverse, united community here to see your city flourish. We thank you in your name. Amen.
Amen. Leading us this evening in the Pledge of Allegiance, we'd like to call forward at this time Alma and Dan Boone from the Brother Bennos.
Let us begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may all please be seated.
Thank you.
At this time, we would also call forward Harold Cutler, who is the founder of Brother Benno, to receive a proclamation on behalf of the 30th anniversary for the Brother Benno Foundation. Please welcome him forward. Proclamation in honor of Brother Benno Foundation. Whereas the Brother Benno Foundation was started by Harold and Kay Cutler by opening a soup kitchen in Oceanside in October of 1983. The soup kitchen was named after Brother Benno Garrity, a Benedictine monk and baker at Prince of Peace Abbey, who worked tirelessly to help the working poor in the community by distributing bread to anyone who needed it. And whereas the basic need of feeding the poor had grown to include a majority of working poor families, the disabled, and low-income senior citizens, the need to expand services beyond food was inevitable, and in 1991, the Brother Benno Foundation moved its services to the present location on Production Avenue and added a thrift shop. And whereas the Brother Benno Foundation offers recovery programs for men and women, rental and utilities assistance, and aid to veterans through an education program. And whereas the numerous volunteers who help every day by serving food, singing, talking to people, preparing sack lunches, distributing food boxes. And whereas the Brother Benno Foundation is celebrating 30 years of service to the Oceanside community and will continue giving encouragement and comfort to all in need. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, do hereby thank the Brother Benno Foundation for its numerous years of being a good neighbor to all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, from the city of Oceanside to this wonderful man. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been here for a long time in Oceanside, and I don't know anybody who has a bigger heart. And I want to thank you. Besides the proclamation, from me to you, you've been nothing but a godsend to all these people that are in need in Oceanside, and you keep giving, no matter what. God bless you, and thank you very much. And I'm going to hand the mic to you, because I know you're so... You won't sing like your wife, but you know.
You can say that again. Well, tonight, what I would like to do is thank the city of Oceanside, the wonderful people on our council who have supported us through some trying years, and without that support, I would not be here tonight. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and the past ladies and gentlemen. Also, I would like to thank all the people who have supported us so generously over these 30 years, which has enabled us to serve more and more of the poor and the homeless. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank God. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all.
For our next presentation, we're going to hear of the Pet of the Month from the San Diego Humane Society's North Campus. And with us tonight we have Brianne Miller, who's one of their representatives.
Newlywed here, plus a cat. Do you want me to hold it?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. You want to hold the kitty? Oh, okay.
He crawls up like that.
He's actually a sweetheart. He's been doing very good. Wow, I gotta let snuggle time happen. This is Avery. He's a 5-month-old domestic long-haired brown tabby. He is available for adoption, and I can tell you the whole time I've had him, he's just been purring and happy to be anywhere with whoever's holding him. He's very sweet. He is available for adoption. He's already been neutered. He's current on his vaccinations. He's been microchipped, and you get a free vet check, all for $125, which definitely can't beat something as cute as that to love on you every single day. We do have a lot of fun programs happening at the Humane Society this month. On Friday is our monthly doggy cafe. It's a night out with your dog. Come out, socialize, practice good doggy behavior before going out to a real cafe. So we'll have treats for your dog, as well as some snacks and refreshments for you as well. We do have a few spots left in our pet first aid class. This is offered through the Red Cross. You get certified in cat and dog first aid. So basically the first steps to take in an emergency before you get them to the vet's office. So it's good information. Hopefully you will never have to use, but it's good to have as a backup in case you do. Also, we do have an affordable licensing, vaccination, and microchipping clinic that we hold once a month. The next one being held will be on November 23rd at Wildwood Park in Vista from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Definitely encourage everybody to bring their animals out and get them microchipped. That's the easiest way to ensure your pet will come home if they get lost. Collars come off, people can take them off, but microchips are implanted gently underneath the skin, and it's registered to you. If we find an animal, we scan them, make sure they don't have a microchip. If they do, we can call you right away and say, come on down and get your loved one. So another great program we have is Project Kept. It's keeping every person and pet together during these hard financial times. We want to make sure that we're helping out our fellow San Diegans. So we hold a monthly food bank to help people make sure that their pets can stay with them. So we are always looking for donations of cat and dog food to be able to give out to those in need. So if you have any extra or see any on sale at store and want to drop some off, we greatly appreciate it. So please come out and visit our wonderful animals like this little guy right here, as well as stopping by our dog park right next to our San Luis Rey location, and come and exercise your dogs. I know our mayor loves to come out and visit.
I'll meet you down at the dog park.
Okay, there we go. Maybe I won't bring Avery though.
One quick question, please. Your new husband does what?
He's a Cobra pilot in the Marine Corps.
Jim, I think the cheerleaders would love to have him as their mascot.
I'm thinking a great mascot for Oceanside High for the cheerleaders. On the way out, you can pick him up, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
For our next presentation, we are very fortunate to have with us this evening Jack White, who is a local Oceanside boy who done good, and we'd like to call him forward at this time along with his wife, Lynn. Please give him a round of applause. And we'd also like to call forward the family and friends who came here with him this evening, if they would also make their way into the dais circle. And we also have the Oceanside High School cheerleaders who are here to cheer him on, if they join us too.
Maybe we can have the cheerleaders all take a knee, and that will help. Everybody can see you. And the rest of you, this is a group of good-looking people, I tell you what. Ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting, Jack White has been on TV and certainly has been the poster boy for the city of Oceanside for a long, long time. And we're so proud of him that he went so far. And the news, and he's certainly been a part of Oceanside and what makes it happen. For San Diego, Jack, God bless you and what you got. Look at what you got turning out for you, I tell you what. And Oceanside owes you a great deal of thank you for always mentioning us and what we've done in San Diego. Anyhow, with that, I got one gentleman taking pictures, so girls up front, try to look good.
Proclamation in honor of Jack White. Whereas Jack White is a native son of Oceanside, California, having attended local schools, graduating from Oceanside High School in 1957. And whereas Jack attended San Diego State University with a major in business. And whereas Jack served as a soldier in the U.S. Army's division of the Armed Forces Radio and Television Network. And whereas Jack spent nearly 40 years in the broadcast industry, primarily serving as a radio and TV news anchor, while becoming one of San Diego's most popular and sought-after television personalities. And whereas Jack served as a consultant for the movie Anchorman, resulting in the movie scenes being reminiscent of his days at KGTV in San Diego. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, do hereby proclaim November 6, 2013 as Jack White Day in the City of Oceanside and thank him for being a wonderful representative to our community.
I don't know if you did it. Jack, I know you're not just talking to people.
Yeah, so I congratulate them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of my friends coming out, my family, and for all of you. A little while ago, we took a walk around Oceanside, and it's changed a great deal since I grew up here. But there is something special about coming back to where your roots are. Maybe it's the people, maybe it's just the clean air, maybe it's just knowing that this is home. Now, where can you go and have the whole cheerleading team turn out to see you? The cheerleaders are the only reason I ever went to football and basketball games. So thank you, ladies, for being here. I must thank a couple of people. Tom Morrow, a good friend, thank you so much. And a special thank you to Esther Newman, who's been a long friend and a great supporter. To all of you, thank you so much for being here, and it's wonderful being back here in Oceanside.
Photo op time off. Valerie, can we get one too for us? Can you hold us? Let me take this like we're presenting it to you, Jack. All right. Photo op here. 3, 2, 1. Jack, I wouldn't buy a used car. You buddy. Squeeze in, Aaron. Turn sideways. Run in the water, run in the water.
So big smile. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to take one more. It's a nice family shot, so I'll see.
Christmas party. Great Christmas party.
1, and 3.
Wow. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, for Oceanside Hero. Thank you, ladies from the cheerleading team, everybody. Thank you. Oh, don't be silly. I told you it was a special evening tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for that. Good-looking audience tonight, too, I tell you what. Well, not the front row. Folks, if you're here for Jack and you need to leave, I understand it. Thank you very much for being here for such a special occasion. Thank you. We have another presentation. We'll get moving after that for a council meeting. I want to also thank that we have the chief of police and the fire chief in the back keeping an eye on some of you, and you know who you are.
At this time, we would ask that the city council please gather once again in the dais circle. We would like to honor at this time our outgoing city manager, Peter Weiss, and we'd like to ask him to come forward into the dais circle as well.
If I may, city staff, department heads, come on up. We want you up here, all of you. Chiefs, battalion chiefs, everybody up here. Thank you. These are all the happy people that are happy that he's leaving. So
Junior Day. It is with gratitude that we hand over this clock in remembrance of your service to Peter A. Weiss, City Manager, with sincere gratitude for 27 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Oceanside, and in appreciation of your guidance, leadership, and laughter from January 1986 through December 2013. We thank you.
pretty nice, I tell you what. They misspelled your name, so you ought to look here.
But I can't tell time. Mayor and council, thank you very much for this, for the surprise. Now I need to go get a drink. I can say that now. But thank you very much for the support, not just from the mayor and council, but from all of the various department and staff people and the community as a whole. I know we've been through some difficult times, and I think we've met those challenges with integrity and dedication to the community. I do want to thank the mayor and council for all their support, and best wishes as we go forward. Thank you.
A lot of years here at Oceanside, coming all the way from the middle of it to the top. He's done a great job here. We hate to see him go. Well, some of us hate to see him go, but we want to give him a big head. Rumor there's an opening for a city manager in Carlsbad. Again. Anyhow, sir, I thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, I want to get a picture, and then I want to ask you for a round of applause for a hard-working gentleman who did a lot for Oceanside. We're going to have to... Yeah, and shove you out the door.
Michelle, I don't even see you. Oh, nice. Okay, so we're going to do two. Smile. Nothing ever changes, does it? And smile.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, when he started as city manager, he did not have one gray hair.
Our next presentation we have with us is from the Soccer Club of Oceanside, the Falcons, who are the winners of the Eric Mueller Memorial Tournament for the Division 5 boys. And we'd like to start calling them forward one by one. Their head coach, George Alves. Assistant coach is Jed Millis. And their team manager, Regina Darling. And the players, Nathan Alves, Damian Amador, David Amador, Cameron Arch, Finley Darling, Jake Henderson, Jagger Lewis, Joseph Nellis, Joshua Ochoa, Pedro Perez, and Jair Alexis Ramirez. Please welcome them all.
First off, ladies and gentlemen, parents, you can move wherever you need to take pictures. You don't have to stay in your seats, move around, whatever. Plus, it's live on KOC TV. Tape it later when they replay it or get copies from down there. It's always good for the family, Christmas, and grandparents. On the other hand, what we put this on for is these young gentlemen, sometimes ladies, represent our city locally, county-wide, state, and sometimes nationally. They have their name Oceanside on it, so they're part of our city. We're proud that they go represent the city of Oceanside. Even prouder, we're happy for the coaches, team moms, and everybody else that's all the time out there helping them become better players, but better citizens for the city of Oceanside. So this is our opportunity to have these winning teams come in and say, thank you, be on TV for them to be seen, and also look at some of the medals they win. So we're pretty proud, and the coach will tell you about that in a second. So move around if you need to take pictures, and I'll pass this over to you, Coach.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and we're honored to receive this certificate here. We had a great season. Assistant Coach Jed here and our team manager, Regina. We had a great season. Actually finished the season with no losses. We had 7 wins, no losses, and 3 ties. And then in the tournament, we proceeded to win three games on Saturday and two games on Sunday to win the cup. So. I'd like to say thank you to all the parents who made sure you got your kids to practice and to the games. And thank you to the City of Oceanside.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here, and it was an honor to coach these kids. They didn't know each other at the start of the season. They came together to be a championship team, undefeated, won the tournament, and this team is something the whole city should be proud of. Thank you.
Well, they represent Oceanside, and they're winners. And I want to tell you something. Soccer outnumbers all the other sports in Oceanside combined. This is the biggest, most popular sport in Oceanside, and we're moving for 22 more fields out in the El Corazon and maybe some other locations to make this kind of the sports center of North County, and especially since we have all the athletes that we do in this community. And thank you for being here on TV for everybody, and say thank you. And then, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for them. Okay. There. No parents or cameras, okay? Big smile. 1, 2, 3. Remember, parents, one picture and a camera can be seen to everybody. Winners, that's what life winners. You guys do this, please? You guys come in there? One more. It isn't over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Kids, if you have to go home right now, that's fine. I understand you have to get home. It's a work week. But thank you for being here.
At this time, we are going to be calling forward an item from Deputy Mayor Kern. It is to ask also that all the council members join him in the dais circle. We are going to be honoring Ms. Jackie McCoy, who is the Oceanside Veteran of the Year, and also the Military Outreach Ministry of Camp Pendleton, which will be the Oceanside Veteran Organization of the Year.
Yeah, so thank you. Every year we try to recognize our veterans and those who support veterans in our community. We select one outstanding veteran and one veterans organization, which we serve our veterans and their families. In turn, it have benefited our entire community. Come on up, Jackie. This time I'd like Chuck Atkinson to make his way up here. Chuck, with Vance, the Veteran Association North County, has worked with me every year for the last 7 years, I think, to select the organization and the Veteran of the Year. So I'd like Chuck to say a couple words, and while he's talking, I'd like all the former Veterans of the Year please make their way up. And Harold, that includes you, because your organization was the Organization of the Year 2 years ago.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here this evening to see these recipients of these awards from the California Women Marines Association and from moms. They do a lot of good for the active duty and veterans in the community here. Vance, our facility over here, our resource center, we have been under construction here for several months now to build it out. A little more usage in the facility. It's coming to the climax of the first stage. The contractor tell me it'll be finished for Veterans Day, which is Monday. And we certainly look forward to opening it up, invite the city into the community to take a look at the new facility that we're building out. We still have a ways to go to build the rest of the facility out. But we're working very diligently and with all our volunteers, and it is an all-volunteer organization to make that happen. We have a lot of programs going on in the facility right now. We have a CalVet service officer in there that's doing VA claims. It's one very important thing we need to get in for the veterans, keep those claims coming in so they can get the monies that they so deserve for those resources. Also, we have a career transitioning assistance program where we help veterans in active duty making a transition to get jobs, prepare them for the job market. We also have a Worked with EDD a couple of weeks ago. We had a job fair with law enforcement from all over the area came in, and also firefighters. It was a great program, but it really brought in a lot of new people into the area. So we have a lot of things going there. Walmart is in there right now doing some hiring with the new center. They're going to open up right across from the Oceanside High School. It's going very nicely. So it's a lot of functions that are going on in the facility right now, and we can do so much more once we get the facility built out. So again, come down and see our facility. Monday, Veterans Day, the 11th of November, we have that ceremony. It'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning. The community is invited to join us for that hour and about 15 minutes. We have a speaker, color guard. It's a nice ceremony. You'd be pleased to come and visit with us. So, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm going to read this for our new Veteran of the Year. Whereas Jackie McCoy, USMC Sergeant, retired, was named the 2013 and 14 Oceanside Veteran of the Year by Councilman Jerome Kern and the Veteran Association in North County in recognition for her tireless dedication and commitment to our military veterans, their families, and our community. Whereas Ms. McCoy served in the USMC during the Korean War from 1950 to 1953, attained the rank of sergeant. She continues to serve her community as a volunteer. From 1998 to 2008, Jackie served as a member of the Senior Volunteer Patrol at the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. In 2010, Jackie became the volunteer for the VA of San Diego Healthcare System. Jackie greets the patients at the Oceanside Clinic 3 days a week. Jackie is an active member in the Women Marines Association and is their VA liaison to support the veterans in our community. Jackie's unique, cheerful personality, as we can see, lights up the atmosphere, and her sense of humor is a delight. Her positive attitude makes her an asset, especially when working with fellow veterans. Now, therefore, the City of Oceanside commends Jackie McCoy, Sergeant, USMC retired, for her tireless dedication and commitment to Oceanside's military veterans and families and community at large. I'd like to say...
I certainly am not the speaker that any of these other people have been. I need my notes. Come on. It is an unexpected honor to be receiving this award. I wish to thank Mayor Jim Wood, Deputy Mayor Jerry Kern, the City Council of Oceanside, the Veterans Associations of North County, the Women's Marines Association, Chapter CA7, and my family, who's out there someplace, for your support. I have had the pleasure of working at the La Jolla VA Hospital and at the VA Clinic here in Oceanside. The military has been my life since I served in the Marine Corps 63 years ago, and then married a career Navy corpsman. How times have changed. It is truly my joy to be here tonight, and I thank you for allowing me to be of service to all branches of the military. I thank the Lord for helping me stay healthy enough to be able to do this service.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tom Garcia. I represent Assemblyman Rocky Chavez for the 76th Assembly District. And as a fellow Marine, Rocky would like to present you with this certificate of recognition. Got me all choked up here, yes. Yeah. You practiced, I didn't. Okay, so anyway, Rocky wanted to do this for you, so thank you very much for your service.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll forgive Tom since he was in the Army, so he kind of tripped over things. He was in the Army. That explains a lot, doesn't it? So anyway, here's the certificate. You say you had family here? Can they come in, or is she too busy filming?
They're both sitting there filming, and my grandson is over there someplace. I don't know where he is.
Look, the grandson and
This is my daughter.
And the daughter come in and for the
Grandson
presentation.
Aaron and his wife Jessica. She's our photographer.
Okay, well, thank you. On behalf of the city of Oceanside, we all thank you. In addition to the plaque, I'm going to give you a coin, city coin.
Thank you so much.
You know, that and about $5 will buy you a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
That's well worth it. Thank you.
You know, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Now, you can stay here. No, you can stay here, but I'm going to move over for a little bit. And then right now, I'd like the representative from the Military Outreach Ministry to come forward. This is our organization of the year. Well, she's slipping in the sideways there. Whereas the Military Outreach Ministry was named in 2013 and 2014 Oceanside Veteran Organization of the Year by Councilman Jerry Kern, the Veterans Association of our county, in recognition for continued effort and to provide programs and services vital to the Oceanside military community. Whereas the Military Outreach Ministry has served thousands of military families for over 20 years and improved their quality of life. Whereas the Military Outreach Ministry has provided food programs and national baby care programs for young Marine families, provide an opportunity for the community to show their gratitude for the military service. Now, therefore, the City of Oceanside commends the Military Outreach Ministry and its ongoing dedication for the Oceanside military and their families. And accepting on their behalf is Ms. Faye Bell, who is the Chief Executive Officer and a Commander of the U.S. Navy retired. So, Faye, and a flyer.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate you all and your wonderful award that you have bestowed on us. I am here today as a representative of Military Outreach Ministry, and I also have former Staff Sergeant, USMC, Mario Romero. You can give him a hand. I founded the organization, but Mario is the boots on the ground. So those of you who know the Marine Corps, you know that a staff sergeant is very vital whenever you need things done, and he gets everything done that needs to be done. We have the wonderful privilege to actually have facilities and be part of the base at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton for the last dozen years. And we're right up the road here, so we get a lot of support, a lot of volunteers, a lot of city support from Oceanside, and we really appreciate that support because we depend not on big government contracts or big corporate sponsors, but we depend on the individuals in the community. They come out and they support the families by bringing food, baby items, household goods and furniture that are needed very much by young military families. And we appreciate so much that this community comes around and lets us do what we want to do so well, and that's honor the military for their service and these families for the sacrifice that they give during their very formidable years of their marriages and when they're having young babies and they're apart for a while. So we have the best job in the world. So for you to give us an award for it, we kind of feel like it's kind of a little reversal because we feel like we should be saying thank you so much for letting us do this every day because it's such a wonderful blessing to us. So thank you all, and we invite you out anytime to volunteer out at Camp Pendleton, and I hope to see you soon.
Well, thank you. And here's the award. But it says it's 20 years, and you started when you were 10?
Actually, it's 10 years, and I'm older than I look.
Okay. Well, I look older than I am. Right? So anyway, here's the presentation for that, and also
get in here.
Yeah, get it, and also a coin, the city coin.
Thank you for that one.
Yeah. Okay, if we can all kind of squeeze in for a big photo op, and then we'll be done. And actually, I was just looking around the room, and we actually have all the services represented here. Obviously, the Marine Corps is here, but also Tom Garcia is from the Army. Sandra Fichter, who worked with Vance, is a retired Army major.
He's been in all the
And Chuck by himself could probably represent all of them. And then Councilmember Feller was in the Navy, which, you know.
Somebody had to make tea.
Yeah. And I was actually in the Air Force. So way back when, way back in the last century. So anyway, well, thank you all for attending, and I really do appreciate everything that you guys do for the city of Oceanside and the veterans of Oceanside. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. It's always nice to give out awards and recognize people who've done so much in the city of Oceanside or in the community. So thank you for that. This is the second part of our hearing, and I'll move forward with that. And how many we got for public comments? How many slips?
Public comments off of the agenda? None.
Pardon?
None.
None?
No commentary for public
Well, I'll move on for that one. Yeah. Let's go on to item 18, please.
Item 18 is the introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 6, Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, and 13, and Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Oceanside Municipal Code to reflect adoptions of the 2013 edition of the California Building Standards Codes, building fire, plumbing, mechanical, electrical, residential, energy, historic, and green building codes with certain local amendments, additions, and deletions, and adoptions of the resolution of express findings supporting the local amendments.
Thank you very much. With that, as the mayor, I'll open this public hearing and ask for requests for disclosures from council members.
Only staff.
Staff. Staff.
No contact.
Staff and a couple members of the public.
Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Clerk, correspondence, petitions.
None.
Thank you very much. With that, please, gentlemen, go for it.
Good evening, Mayor Wood and members of the council. Tonight, the matter before you is the adoption of the latest editions of the California Building Standards Codes, which occurs every 3 years as they are updated statewide. Tonight, we bring forward a combined adoption of both building and fire regulations, which, to the best of my knowledge, is the first time in Oceanside that fire and building have come together before you. And I would like to acknowledge Fire Marshal Felipe Rodriguez for his extensive work and cooperation in bringing us together to bring a combined set of regulations that, in our opinion, best suit the needs of Oceanside. We focused our efforts on modernizing the municipal code by eliminating outdated and poorly worded code amendments and trying to cut some of the clutter out in those areas we could. By adopting these codes, we will keep Oceanside in conformance with the state's laws and maintain our better standing with the insurance industry as they grade us on our additions of codes as well, and that affects our flood insurance rates, property insurance, and other matters. With that, I'm prepared to answer your questions, and Fire Marshal Rodriguez is here as well if you have any questions of staff.
Thank you. If you could take a seat at the sidebar while we're waiting. Chief, do you have anything to comment? Over here, do you have any comments? Just if you have any, you can get asked questions.
Thank you. We'll be ready for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Chief. I appreciate it. Thank you very much with that.
This is a public hearing item. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item may come forward to the dais to address the council for 3 minutes.
Mr. Clerk, I see none. I see no public comment. With that, I'll close the public hearing and come back to the council. Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Kern, please.
Thank you. When will these go into effect? I'm trying to, are these like January 1st items or?
Yes, the effective date statewide is January 1st, 2014. These combined regulations will be applicable statewide for the next 3 years following January 1st.
Have we sent notices out to the, or how do we let people know that the new codes are coming in? Or is that something when they come in to apply, we give them the codes that...
We speak to, pardon me.
Go ahead.
We speak to our customers, we post the information on the city's website. Those that we come in contact with or have questions, I've had a few, we advise them that they're coming. And we do our best to make the public informed.
Okay.
And it's generally known in the development and construction industry. This 3-year cycle has been around for decades.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Chief, you're sitting there so quietly. I'm trying to think of a question, but I can't think of one for you right now. Maybe my colleagues will have one. So I would like to move to introduce the ordinance of the City Council the City of Oceanside amending Chapter 6, Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, 13, and Chapter 11, Article 2 of the Oceanside Municipal Code to reflect the adoptions of the 2013 edition of the California Building Standards Code.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, and also adopt the resolution.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Sanchez, please.
I just did it.
Councilmember Feller, please.
I really have some tough questions, but I'm going to save them for my office.
Uh-oh. If that's all, please vote. Oh, excuse me, we're going to title it. Thank you.
Sorry, I need to title the ordinance. This is the introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending Chapter 6 and Chapter 11 of the Oceanside City Code by the adoption of the 2013 editions of the California Administrative Building, Fire, Plumbing, Mechanical, Electrical, Energy, Residential, Historical, and Green Building Codes.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney, for reminding me. Please vote.
Voting Ms. Sanchez and Mr. Feller.
Vote several times, okay.
Motion approved 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief. Good job.
Thank you both. Mr. Clerk, when you have the opportunity, item 19, please.
Item number 19 is introduction of an ordinance amending Articles 4A and 12 of the Downtown Zoning Amendment and adoption of a resolution approving local coastal program amendment to allow for retail sales, drive-through restaurants, fuel pumps at mini-marts, disallowing the permit process for offices from conditional use to permitted with Subdistrict 6A, and changing the zoning designation of the area located north of the intersection of Highway 76 and North Coast Highway from the 7B Subdistrict to the 6A Subdistrict.
Thank you very much on that. Mayor, I'll open this public hearing and ask for disclosures.
Mostly staff. We've been talking about this for a year, so.
Staff.
Staff, and I was also part of the Coastal Commission when this came before us in June, and had staff present as well there.
Thank you very much.
Staff and some of the downtown businesses.
Thank you. With that, petitions, correspondence?
None.
Thank you very much for that. John.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Weiss, Mr. Mullen. I'm John Helmer, Downtown Area Manager. The item before you today is a public hearing for amendments to the Downtown Zoning Ordinance and the city's local coastal program. Last November, the City Council approved changes to the Downtown Zoning Ordinance as outlined in the title, changing some of the uses allowed in the downtown area, allowing as a permitted use more retail uses, mini markets with fuel pumps, and a new addition was drive-through restaurants. It's also changed I'm sorry, how do I change this?
Right, Luigi.
How do I do that? Just right click. Thanks. Thank you. The area to be rezoned from 7B, which is a recreational, commercial, residential mixed-use area, to 6A is this area right here. This is in the 900 block of North Coast Highway. As you can see, it's got the Carol's Restaurant on it, the California Visitor Center, and if you believe Google's map, it's got a Motel 6 on it, but of course that Motel 6 is not there. This is the zoning map of the area that would be changed. This area again is the yellow area where this says 7B on the map. It's the little half of almond-shaped area right above Coast Highway. The zone change would change it to 6A, which is similar to the area down at the north end of Coast Highway where the Del Taco and some of those gas stations are down there. These uses were proposed to allow more visitor-serving uses, retail sales, and drive-through restaurants. Because it's part of the local coastal program, it had to go to the Coastal Commission, and the Coastal Commission made a couple modifications that need to be affirmed by the City Council in order to become part of the certified local coastal program. Those modifications are very minor. One is that the definition of convenience markets and drive-through restaurants was submitted to them in the wrong article, was submitted in Article 12, which is the regulatory part. It should have been in 4A, which is the definitions part. And also, one of the proposals that the city approved that the Coastal Commission is disallowing is changing office uses from a conditional use to permitted use. There are no other modifications suggested by the Coastal Commission. If the council approves these modifications, and we'll send this back to the Coastal Commission, and upon receipt of that, this will become part of the certified local coastal program. So our recommendation to you tonight is that you introduce an ordinance amending Articles 4A and 12 of the downtown zoning ordinance and adopt a resolution approving a local coastal program revision to allow retail sales, drive-through restaurants, fuel pumps and mini-marks, and also disallowing offices from conditional use to permitted use in Subdistrict 6A, as suggested by the California Coastal Commission. That concludes my presentation. I'll have any, if you have any questions.
Please have a seat sidebar. Public comments?
This is a public hearing item. Any members of the public wishing to speak on this item may come forward to address the council for 3 minutes. No, only on this particular item right now, yeah.
Mr. Clerk, I see none, so I'll close the public hearing and come back to the council. Thank you very much. Councilmember Sanchez, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move introduction.
Oh, second. You do that much quicker than I do.
Move introduction.
Thank you very much, Mr. Field. And, sir.
Look,
Yeah, a motion and second for introduction.
If you're prepared to vote, I could title the ordinance. There's also a resolution
well,
for the
I just,
LCP amendment.
yeah, and do what we have to do. I had
Just one second.
I have one question.
Sorry, the lighting here, I do see on here.
okay.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Felina, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question on the Coastal Commission recommendations for my education. What was their concern on office use and the significance of them going from a permitted use to conditional use?
I believe they felt that in those visitor-serving commercial areas, that if it was to be an office use, which is not a visitor-serving commercial use, that it should be a conditional use, and that would be approved by the CDC. However, those areas, they have restaurants, gas stations. We don't believe offices would be proposed in those areas anyway, so staff had no objection to that change at all.
Okay, and then the section, basically changing the section of the wording, what was the significance of that? Just to read
The only
here?
significant was that there was I think a clerical error or some sort of error in the submission to the Coastal Commission in that those definitions were in the regulatory section, which is Article 12, when in fact they should have been in Article 4A, which is the definition sections. So it's the same definition, it's just moved from one chapter to another
Clerical
chapter.
issue then. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To you.
Okay, so as I said, we have a resolution for the LCP amendment, which I don't need to title, and then the ordinance. This is the introduction of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside, amending Articles 4A and 12 of the Downtown Zoning Ordinance, incorporating suggested modifications as proposed by the California Coastal Commission.
Okay, I just have one process question. Now that it sounds like this is going to go through, when does it go back before Coastal Commission and get their?
I will send them a letter with as soon as I get a signed ordinance and resolution from the city clerk, I will forward them to the Coastal Commission. They typically calendar it for a consent calendar item. Is it an executive
It's
director?
concurrence with executive director's determination.
Concurrence, and that should happen.
Yeah,
It could happen as early as December, but I would guess it'd probably happen in January.
Okay, thank you.
Please vote.
Motion approved 5-0.
We're going to trail item 20 until later tonight. No, item 20.
Item number 20. Item number 20 is introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 29 of the City Code by establishing wastewater user rate increases, and introduction of an ordinance amending Chapter 37 of the City Code by establishing water user rate and external water provider charge increases.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. I'll go ahead and open this public hearing and ask for disclosures again.
We saw this in a workshop. We've had a number of contacts from the outside, from the public, in the last day or so, day or two. And was there any speakers at the workshop? No speakers? I don't remember.
Can't remember either.
One maybe. So, thank you.
It's staff, public, emails.
Similar.
Right, I'm counting 4 emails here that were received via the city clerk's office that were made available to us, and the workshop comments.
Yeah, similar, the staff, the workshop, the emails, and we also received a packet that the clerk office sent up about the snail mail stuff about individual protest letters. So yeah, we've been hearing about this.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, we've received correspondences and petitions and have distributed them to the council.
Thank you. Ms. Dale? Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. This evening, we will be holding a majority protest public hearing for water and sewer rate increases. The calendar shown here reflects the milestones related to the rate development, approval, and the effective date of the rates should they be passed. One of the areas requiring a significant effort is the noticing of customers, which occurred September 3rd through the 19th through mailers. At the recommendation of the Utilities Commission, however, the department went above and beyond the requirement to notice by mail by including notices at the Oceanside libraries, at the clerk's office, at the revenue office or the cashier's office, at our water counter, at conservation public community events, as well as on the KOCT bulletin announcements and on the city's Twitter and Facebook pages. During the workshop on October 23rd, staff from Carollo Engineers discussed the cost of service study process, the purpose and its objectives, the findings, and the differences in the rate structure alternatives. Carollo also discussed the rate structure objectives of equity, transparency, stability and sustainability, administrative burden, as well as legal compliance. At the workshop, staff requested guidance from council on the rate structure alternatives, and council advised that they were in favor of the option which implemented the cost of service study. Those recommendations are being presented in this presentation this evening. And first we'll talk about wastewater. For the wastewater utility, the cost of service findings resulted in the reallocation of fixed capacity costs, reducing the burden on single-family residential accounts. Last year at council's direction, the winter quarter average for single-family residential accounts was revised, which caused a significant shift in the number of accounts in each tier on each of the low, medium, or high sewer classifications. For a single-family residential customer with low sewer use, which is up to 5 units of water use, the recommended sewer rate increases less than 1% or 0.8% from $40.14 to $40.46. For a medium sewer use customer using between 5.1 and 10 units of water a month, the recommended sewer rate decreases 0.8% from $56.76 to $56.28. And for a high sewer use customer using more than 10 units of water a month, the rate is recommended to decrease 7.3% from $86.26 to $79.92, as shown here. For multifamily customers, a low sewer use group of multifamily customers with 23 dwelling units, as is shown in this example, and 3.5 units of water use each month per dwelling unit, as shown on the left, would realize a 15% increase from, in this example, $453 to $521 a month. A medium sewer use group of multifamily customers with 23 dwelling units and 9 units of water each month per dwelling unit, as shown in the middle columns, would realize a 12% increase from $575 to $647. And a high sewer use group of multifamily customers would realize a 9% increase in costs from $901 to $982.
Should be noted that the high sewer use group of multifamily customers would still pay less per customer than medium use single-family residential customers. Commercial customers would realize increases of 11, 10, and 9% according to water use every month as shown in the examples here. This is a regional comparison. The single-family residential sewer rates were compared against other sewer agencies in the San Diego area. Compared to other sewering agencies, Oceanside single-family residential medium sewer flow recommended rate is $56.28, which is below the regional average of $61.96 by about $7.68. The effective overall increase for the sewer fund is 2.15% over last year's revenues. Moving to water, and I'm going back to the cost of service study slides again. The cost of service study looked at how different customer classes utilize the system in a different and unique manner, as depicted in this chart, and you saw this chart at the October workshop. The cost of service study reflects the shift in water use by customer class, especially in the single-family residential customer class, where water usage has decreased since 2007 as compared to other customer classes. The monthly meter charge was also noted as not distinguishing by customer class and is being changed. The implementation of the cost of service findings results in the following impacts to water rates: a reduction in fixed charge for single-family residential customers, an increase in fixed charge for all other customer classes, changes to commodity charges, or the charge which is associated with the amount of water that is used, and pass-through charges to reflect the cost of purchased water. These are examples of 3 scenarios for single-family residential customers. The 2 columns to the far left show a bill for a customer using 6 units of water a month. The existing bill would be $41.06, and the proposed bill using the same 6 units of water per month in the example would be $40.38. This is a 1.7% reduction in cost. The middle columns show a medium water customer using 12 units of water a month. The existing bill is $62.84, and the proposed bill using the same 12 units per month would be $62.88, a 0.1% increase in cost, or 4 cents per month increase. The right columns show a high water use customer using more than 12 units or more, using 24 units of water a month. The existing water bill is $109, and the proposed bill would be $113, or 3.6% increase in cost. These are examples of 3 scenarios for multifamily residential customers for water. The 2 columns to the far left show a bill amount for a group of customers using 3.5 units of water a month. The existing bill is $405, and the proposed bill would be $461, or a 13.7% increase. The middle column shows a group of customers using a medium amount of water, or 5 units of water per month per dwelling. The existing bill is $525, and the proposed bill would be $590, or a 12.4% increase. The columns to the right show a group of high water use multifamily customers using 9 units of water a month. The existing bill is $857, and the proposed bill would be $956, or 11.5% increase in cost. All of the rates in these examples are less than the medium use single-family residential rate if you look at a per dwelling unit basis. This slide shows examples of 3 scenarios for a commercial customer. 2 columns to the far left show a bill for a commercial customer using 10 units of water. The existing bill is $79 per month, and the proposed bill would be $91, or a 16% increase in cost. The middle column shows a commercial customer using a medium amount of water, or 25 units of water per month. The existing bill is $136 and would go to $150, or a 10% increase in cost. The right column shows a group of water users, or commercial customer using 40 units of water a month. The existing bill is 193 and would change to 208 or 8% increase in costs. And at Council's request, staff prepared and distributed a memo and additional bill examples for this and other commercial customer classes. This is another regional survey of water agencies in the San Diego area. Oceanside's rates are highlighted in yellow and are found to the left part of the table. Oceanside's single-family residential rate is the fourth lowest in San Diego County at $62.88 and is $11.81 below the regional average of $74.69. It is also lower than many of Oceanside's neighbors, including Vista, Fallbrook, Rainbow, Vallecito, which serves San Marcos, as well as the city of Carlsbad. The rates also meet the department's strategic goal to maintain utility rates at or less than the average as compared to all other agencies in the county. The overall increase for the water is 2.9% above last year's revenues. This is a new table that we've provided to you this year. This is a new comparison completed by the department, and it's called the Water Affordability Index. It's an indicator of water affordability. It's used by the Pacific Institute and is measured by the percentage of median household income spent annually on water services. Typically, the water affordability threshold is measured at 2% of median household income. Under the proposed rates for single-family customers using 12 units of water, the affordability index is 1.26% for the city of Oceanside, indicating that water services are affordably priced. The table compares Oceanside's index in green against other agencies in the county. In conclusion, this evening's recommended actions are to introduce an ordinance amending Chapter 29 by establishing wastewater user rate increases, and to introduce an ordinance amending Chapter 37 by establishing water use and external water provider charge increases. With that, both Rob Grantham and I are at sidebar. Rob is with Carollo Engineers.
Thank you, Ms. Dale. Appreciate it.
This is a public hearing item. Members of the public who've already even turned in blue forms to speak on this item, you may come forward at a time that you prefer. I will not be calling individuals up. You may come forward at your discretion to speak for 3 minutes to address the council on this particular item.
Mayor, Council, Jimmy Knott, 127 Sherry Lane. As Vice Chairman of the Utilities Commission and member of the Budget Committee, and also want to recognize we do have the Chairman in presence in our chamber of the Budget Committee himself, Bud Schumeyer, that I am here to let the Council and the public know that the Commission and the Committee has investigated staff's and consultants' proposal, accounting for every dime to be spent appropriately towards the goal of stabilizing rates, providing equity for all with regards to infrastructure, and making sure that individuals pay for the commodity they use at an appropriate cost and value for the service and the commodity itself. And we on the Commission have unanimously endorsed the proposal. As Vice Chair, representing the Commission, I personally have gone along with the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, and Councilmember Feline to LA, to the Metropolitan Water District, to advocate for our ratepayers and to seek reduction in the high charge that you saw in the chart this evening from Metropolitan Water District, to which they said basically no. We tried. I have also gone beyond this point to San Diego County Water Authority's board, being the only citizen in attendance to advocate for their citizens, asking for any help for our ratepayers, to which they said no. I have also gone before the State Water Resources staff in Temecula to advocate for our citizens to see if they could help in any way for our low or fixed income citizens. And the answer from them was due to Prop 218, no. I want to let the public know what has been done on and for their behalf and in their interest. and I am here to answer any questions the council may have. Thank you.
Two podiums, ladies and gentlemen, if you
Yeah,
want to
come on
speak,
up,
move to one of them and get ready. Thank you, sir. Light will come on when you're ready to go.
Where's the light?
Right there in front of you.
In front of you, yeah.
My name is Gerald Lightsey. I'm a member of the Ocean Terrace Spinnaker Ridge Homeowners Association. And I have a letter here, and I think you have it in your hands. It's in response to the notice for public hearing. In summary, we are asking that the change from a flat fixed service charge per meter of $97.63 to a proposed $137.75, as it specifically applies to our homeowners association, be rescinded for reasons we believe are justified as covered below. The approximate annual additional cost to our association when the proposed service charge is applied to 2012's water bill, the lots for which we have full year's data, is $3,450. We as a board of directors are elected to manage the affairs of our association under Article 3 of its bylaws and the declarations of covenants, conditions, and restrictions for South Ridge Trails Unit number 11 as filed on August the 3rd, 1987. I presume the city has a copy of those covenants. The city of Oceanside and its city council are party to these covenants through reference and several restrictions on things we are not permitted to do without prior consent of the city council of the city of Oceanside, including modification of any provision which establishes the responsibility to provide for the management, control, and maintenance, including but expressly not limited to landscape maintenance and irrigation of the association property by the association of any owner. Our association is made up of 222 lots that contain single-family residences as well as 9 larger lots that surround our property. 2 additional larger lots are between the backs of and separate residences lots that face streets with a large difference in elevation. These 11 lots all have their landscape watered from 2-inch water meters, and I give you the count numbers that we are paying through, which we're expressly forbidden to modify as stated above. Our association totally contains the following 6 streets, and I name the streets that are within our association. In section 14.01, under duration, it says, covenants, conditions, and restrictions of the declaration shall run with and bind the property and shall inure to the benefit and be enforceable by the association or any owner, including the declarant and the city, for a term of 60 years. I don't have time to read the whole letter. You have it in your hands. But essentially, we're locked in to doing what we're expected to do in 1987 in terms of maintenance of this land and the watering of it. And it does not seem fair that here we are about not quite to halftime of this game before we have any right to get out of the agreement that we have, that the whole complex of how we are treated has been changed as if, for some reason, our use of the water is not current with the way Oceanside thinks it should be used now. We think it should be, as we agreed upon, and should be kept in the same kind of organization as it has been all along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members and Mr. Mayor. Although you are a council member too, I just...
Name and address, please, for him.
Yes. My name is Angela A. McMillan, and I live at 3603 Surfline Way in Oceanside. I am here today because I have feel as though I've already received an increase in my water bill. I'm in opposition to the increase due to this fact. In December of, and I'm not reading quote for quote from this sheet because I'll present it to the city clerk when I'm done, but in December of 2012, I wrote to the mayor's office and I wrote the code inspector because I was gone for about 20 days and my water bill was almost $500. I do not want to speak on what I think because I don't know what happened with the water. I just know that my water bill has never in the history of the 16 years that I've been there been almost $500. I own the property and my son lives with me. I have never rented the property out to anyone else that was in the property without me, or have I allowed anyone to stay in the property besides me and my son. Basically, what I would like to do is, for the record, state that I have been in the place of record, which I will put on record after I make this notice, since 1997. My vote no is to not increase the water, because I feel as though I've already had one, and I feel as though since there are 4 units at that property, on that side, it's 3601, 3603, 3605, and 3607. My neighbors, for some reason, run water all the time. I don't know whether a crime scene lives there or why this water is being ran all night long, but I shut my water off at night because of the high cost that I receive. So I'm in protest of this, and you know, I don't feel like I should have to be targeted because I'm here to speak in front of the council members to say, hey, you know, this is too much. If the neighbors are being charged, and there's 5 of us, 4 or 5 of us, then why should I have to get the increase when the neighbors are using more water than I am? But I don't know if you're building it that way, because I don't know where that increase came from. I just know that I wasn't there at the time. And I would like to thank you all tonight.
Young lady, we can't respond to you per se, but when this is finished, lady over there, or, oh, there she is, she wants to talk to you and explain, and we might be able to get more from her, okay? It's hard for us to talk to you and respond, but she'll sit aside and talk to you.
Good evening, council members. I'm speaking here today in opposition of the water rate increases. And I don't have my glasses, so I can't read the letter that I wrote in its entirety, but I did submit it so that you can review it and be placed on the agenda of the minutes of the agenda permanently. Basically, the letter that I wrote is it addresses initially first the way in which you address the issue as far as the public hearings that you actually have when you send out the notices. The only thing that we received has members and residents was this notice. And it wasn't a workshop, it was just a notice of a hearing, which is today's hearings, which really, it denied us the opportunity to address this in a public forum where members of the community had a voice in saying what they wanted to say and how they felt about the water rates prior to you making this decision. And I believe that violated California Brown Act section 54953.3 and 54954.3. And also, but what's more important, the reason why I'm here is because, and it correlates with the graph that you're showing. The graph that you're showing here is very flawed, and I will explain to you why it's flawed. You're comparing yourself to other cities, but what you don't understand, or maybe you do understand it, you're just not notifying the public, is that the other cities do not have a tier system. So the other cities have a fixed rate. It's not a tier system. And why these other cities do not have a tier system is simply this. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. By having a tier system, you're a violation the California Constitution, Article, I believe it's 12D, Section 6, in Article 12C, B and 3, 12 of the same Constitution, Section 6, B and 4. And also, too, you may say, well, then you have to, you know, figure this out in the courtroom. It already has been resolved in the court forum, and initially it was resolved in the court forum in the Capistrano Taxpayers Association in against the city of Capistrano. There's an appellate decision of the city of Palmera versus the City Water District. The decision number is B22869, California of 2nd Appellate Division 7, 198 California, 4th Appellate 926, 131 California Reporter 3rd, 373. The decision of the appellate was in 2009, and this also addresses Jimmy's observation of Proposition 18 or 208, which is flawed. His reasoning is flawed. Everything that has been presented here is flawed, and it's been unconstitutional, and it's about time for the citizens of Oceanside to get a class action lawsuit against the city, because this is a rape. You're raping the taxpayers. You're giving flawed information that is not accurate, that is not within the Constitution, and you're proposing rates that are not constitutional, and this must stop.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Michelle Castellano-Keeler, and I'm here on behalf of my family, the Milano family. We are cut flower growers under the name Milano and Company here in Oceanside. And we, looking at these rates, we just want a little more clarity to understand why there's a different class system, and if there is going to be how commercial and agriculture is separated out, and agriculture is paying the highest rate of these areas. And obviously, we have to be opposed to this unless we can get a better understanding why agriculture, we kind of feel, is singled out and paying the highest rate when it's kind of a difficult time to be a farmer anyway. So we're just looking for a little more clarity, and until we get that, we would have to oppose this. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Louise. First off, I'm Mayor Wood, Council, City Staff. My name's Louise Bama. I live at 745 Sleeping Indian Road in the South Moore Hills area in our agricultural region. My family have been farmers as far back as we can trace, and farming in California since 1911. My husband and Larry and I wanted to continue this legacy when we bought our grove 19 years ago and began growing avocados. 19 years ago, water was a bit over $1 per unit. And today, our fees, with all the fees attached, is about $3.35 per unit. It doesn't sound like much, but when you factor in how many units it takes to grow avocados, along with the infrastructure costs and the surcharges and the Clean Water Act and everything else that gets tacked on, our water bill is $66,000 a year to water just 1,600 trees. And all we have is 25 acres. We're a very small farm compared to like Milano and the strawberry growers. South Moore Hills grows more than just avocados, as you probably know. It produces strawberries, tomatoes, herbs, nursery stock, and fresh flowers, and now wine grapes. The growers and farmers are working to bring more value to our city by promoting agritourism. We're doing wine tastings, farm tours, and our newest thing is going to be farm-to-table dinners. But we need the city's support to make agriculture more viable. The land does more than just grow food. It also provides animals, birds, and insects a place to live. It cleans our air and our water. It gives our human neighbors a visual place to rest. We need the land to keep us all healthy. I know the residents of Oceanside and our city council want to help the Oceanside local farmers to continue producing local food. Our farm will only survive if we can receive more favorable water rates. We currently receive a discount of 26% from the San Diego Water Authority, and we are thankful for that. I believe that the California state law allows all city water districts, including Oceanside, to discount water rates up to 70% the domestic rates. The city of Escondido just recently approved a pipeline extension, I'm sure you guys read about that, to bring recycled water into their citrus and avocado growers. And this is going to help their farmers survive. I would hope that you would consider granting us more favorable water rates for agriculture and consider extending the recycled water pipeline, which is very much adjacent to South Moore Hills. It's, I think, in the Arrowwood neighborhood. And this would help our local farms survive, and we can continue to provide local, healthy food. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you very much for letting me speak.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item may come forward at this time.
Good evening. My name is Nancy White, and I've been here before. It seems like an annual event for me now. I've been living in Oceanside for the last 15 years, and all of you look very familiar. A couple faces do not, and I'm glad that I can put the faces together. I'm protesting the water increase for many reasons, and unlike my previous speakers who represented agriculture or an association, I'm just an average Joe Blow resident, and I'm here representing them. I just feel that the water increase would be very brutal at this time for just basically we're living in an unstable economy. It's very difficult for many that are unemployed. I'm speaking for the elderly who live day by day on their Social Security and pension. And I know personally around me there are many families that are just struggling, you know, with one income and, or their job is on the line and they're not sure how they're going to make ends meet. And I know that in my family, there are some people, that, families that are renters, and this cost is passed down to the renters as well. I realize that, as our beautiful spokesperson mentioned, that we do have, we're not up to par with many of our cities. I'm just asking that perhaps we can look at more creative ways, of alternative ways that we can pull this help from, so we can meet the residents' needs as well. I agree that the cost of everything has gone up. I'm just asking for you to look at perhaps another way. I personally myself, not sure how much more I can save. My grass in the front is dead. I don't water the back. I'm re-landscaping. I've changed my meters. I use my rainwater. I'm doing everything in my power to conserve. But it's almost useless because this has become almost an annual event that I'm coming in speaking to you folks about perhaps looking at cutting corners a different way. Again, I think that on behalf of all the residents, I would probably ask that we look at this seriously, because as a homeowner, I know what lured me one time to come to Oceanside was the luscious green grass, that beautiful coastal living, and now I think that that might be a deterrent for many people that might be wanting to come and live in this area. My time is up. I thank you for your time, and I appreciate all the presenters. They did an excellent job, and I just hope and pray that we can just be a little more creative in how we increase the water and not slough it off to the residents. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item may come forward at this time. Ms. Lupe, you may come forward at this time. You do not have to have a blue sheet. You can just come forward whenever you like.
City Council, good evening. My name is Luby Bishop, and I moved here from Simi Valley in 2006.
Ma'am, sorry to be rude. Could you pull your mic in front of you a little more? We don't hear you up here well.
Okay.
Thank you. That's good.
Is this better?
That's better.
Okay, I've been here for 7 years now. I originally am from Encinitas. I went to San Diego High. I moved away and I came back to retire to what I call my home. However, the reason I came tonight is because my water bill in 2006, when I moved here, my first water bill was $60.89. I live by myself, and that was service from 12/14 to 1/18/06. My next bill was $62.92, pretty close to the first one. However, my bill last month was $153.39, and the next one was $146.65. This represents an increase of over 100%, and it went from $60.89 to $153.39. I am still on low flow, and I am still on tier 1. I am just very confused, and the reason that I'm confused is because when I lived in Simi Valley, the water bill came every other month. My water bill was $40, $43, $42, never varied. For 2 months, my water bill here is $153 for 1 month. And I don't have a yard. I have a front yard which is only like 10 by 12 in the front. I have no yard in the back. My backyard, or the hill, is watered by the association. So really, I'm thinking the water flow went to $56 and something. That's for the water going out the drain. And I'm thinking, how many showers? Not that many. I like to keep clean, but however, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. I mean, I just want to know how it can be that the difference between Simi Valley and Oceanside can be so humongous, from $40 every other month to $153 every month. I take the same number of showers. I don't have a backyard, just a little tiny front yard. I just don't agree that it should be raised anymore. I'm retired, I'm on a fixed income. What do I do, stop showering? I mean, am I going to be paying for air? I mean, if they can do that, I'm sure somebody's going to come up to start charging us to breathe air. And that's just the way I feel about this water rate.
Thank you, ma'am, I appreciate it. And I'm going to have staff answer some of your questions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yolanda Phillips. I just have a, can we ask questions?
I didn't hear you, ma'am.
Can we ask questions? Okay.
You can ask them, the staff will try to respond to any questions later after we finish this item.
Okay. Number one, single-family residential service and multifamily residential service. If one person lives in each home, one will be charged differently?
They'll get that and respond to you later.
Number two, agriculture. I do not want my food prices to increase, and it seems like a very big jump from single-family to agricultural prices, almost a $4.60 jump. That would mean prices in food would increase. Number two, San Juan Capistrano tier water rate system was viewed illegal by a judge. That's what I was told. I did not have time to view this. I don't want to vote on anything illegal. Number three, why cannot we have a, if it's not illegal, why can we not have a trial 6-month period? That way people can see how much water they're wasting, how this really works, and if it is working in our favor, and to change anything that needs to be changed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item may come forward at this time. You do not need a blue sheet. You can just come forward if you'd like.
Mr. Clerk, I see none, and I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and come back to the council. Before I get to council input, there were several questions along the line. Could staff, Carrie, or you guys respond to some of those, and I'll come back to council.
I'm going to ask Rob Grantham to talk about why some of the different users are charged differently. I know ag was brought up several times, as well as just recently the single-family residential and multifamily residential, so I want him to speak to that as it relates to cost of service.
Mayor, members of the council.
It's not on.
I apologize. Mayor, members of the council, Rob Grantham, Colo Engineers. When we looked at the cost of service analysis, we looked at the existing rate that was implemented in 2007. It was implemented as part of a Citizens Advisory Committee process. We do believe that the rate structure does meet the legal requirements as cost of service. It is a tiered rate structure similar to many communities in surrounding areas such as Carlsbad, Del Mar, San Diego, etc. And we can address the question, the legal question regarding San Juan Capistrano. One change that we recommended as part of this structure is to change the fixed charge. The fixed charge under the current structure is commensurate between all customer classes, meaning single family, multifamily, commercial pay the same charge based on meter size. However, the use of water by customer class is different. So for example, irrigation customers have a large demand in the summer, have a smaller demand in the winter relative to a single family customer. Basically what the cost for the utility from a cost of service perspective is we're building infrastructure, excess capacity that's available to meet that demand in that peak summer. The fixed charge adjustment is intended to better reflect the cost of providing that increased capacity for peak summer. Therefore, our recommendation was to adjust that component of the rate structure to better reflect the cost of service by customer class. Another component to the increase is just a pass-through from the San Diego County Water Authority and their increase from Metropolitan in terms of purchasing of water. So Director Dale noted that, and so much of the increase, and just in terms of usage, is directly attributable to our cost of purchasing water as a purveyor from a wholesale agency.
And let me address a couple more questions. There was a question about the ag rate being very high compared to other rates. There was a program that Metropolitan had implemented in the past to offset costs for agricultural users, and as a result of getting that lower rate, ag users were subject to cutbacks. For instance, during the recent drought that we had, when there were cutbacks, ag was the first customer class to be cut back. The Water Authority was approached by the Farm Bureau a few years ago to continue that program after Metropolitan ceased the program, and collectively the Water Authority voted to adopt a transitional special agricultural water rate, which is set at $1.71 per unit of consumption compared to the commercial ag rate of $2.36 and the irrigation rate of $2.37. It is the lowest rate per unit compared to all customer classes. There are eligibility requirements to meet that. We do send out letters every year to ag customers to see if they're interested in joining into that program. And I have staff here if there's any ag users that would like to talk with staff regarding that program. I do want to also mention that we have been very active in developing recycled water, especially near the Morro Hills area at the back gate. We've been talking with Camp Pendleton about bringing 1 million gallons of recycled water into the city from the back gate area, and the targeted users is the Morro Hills community as well as Arrowwood and that surrounding area. So that's coming. I know it's not here yet, but that is in the works. I also wanted to mention a free Water Smart Checkup program that any user can take advantage of. The number to call is 866-883-1332. The Water Authority is contracted with a service provider that will come and do an audit inside and outside your home, and it's really amazing some of the things that they'll find. And in some cases, even though you have reduced your water usage inside and some of the habits have remained the same, you may be experiencing a leak. So I would suggest calling that number, and the number again is 866-883-1332, or you can call the Water Department general number, and we can certainly direct you to that service.
Excuse me one second, let the city manager jump in for something.
Honorable Mayor, council members, just to add on to what Ms. Dale was talking about, and I'll use the example of bringing the recycled water in from Camp Pendleton. In order to provide that access, it's going to require the city, along with others, to spend money to build the infrastructure necessary to provide that water. One of the biggest drivers of your rate increases going forward are going to be these capital projects. You've identified a need to be 50% water independent by 2030, and in order to do that, it's going to cost us money to build the necessary infrastructure to allow that to happen. At your workshop, you had agreed that we would come back to you in the January-February timeframe to go over all of the long-term capital projects so you can see and we can demonstrate to the public what are those projects that are of significance coming forward over the next 5 to 10 to 15 years that are a driver of these rates. And the reality is, if we look at finding another source of water, and we've been looking at an additional desalination plant near the coast, that is going to drive future rate increases as well. And so even though there are some questions about equity, one of the biggest drivers is going to be finding a way to get additional water that will end up in the long term being less expensive than what we're going to be paying to Metropolitan. But to build that infrastructure is going to cost people money, and literally it's going to come from all of the ratepayers, not just one single customer class. class, but everyone. So they're finding some way of building equity in the system has been a challenge, and I think you have that here in front of you. Obviously, it doesn't meet everyone's need, but there will be ongoing needs to increase rates to provide that backbone infrastructure and to replace those some of the failing infrastructure moving forward. So I just want to make sure that there will be a workshop in the January-February timeframe that we will certainly advertise to the public so they can see some of these longer-term capital projects and the cost of them that'll be available to both you and the community to help reduce what will be longer-term costs.
Mr. City Attorney, please.
Just wanted to quickly address a couple other quick comments that were made. There were a couple references to the San Juan Capistrano case, and I just wanted to make it clear for the council that involved a trial court decision involving San Juan Capistrano's tiered rate structure, as well as their recycled water fee. And though the trial court in that case did invalidate the fees in question, that case is actually on appeal now, so the trial court's decision, a statement of decision that we have reviewed, is not what's known as binding legal authority until it's decided by the appellate court. But secondly, and even more importantly, even if it were, what the trial court was basically stating in that case is that the tiered rate structure at issue in that case, there was no evidence in the record that this agency could point to that it was based on cost of service principles. And in this case, Mr. Corolla has done the cost of service analysis. We discussed it at length at the workshop. It's part of the administrative record. In fact, I think the city clerk can verify that that was a publicly noticed workshop, I think contrary to a suggestion that was made earlier.
It was publicly noticed from our...
So we think that our water rate structure is defensible, even if the San Juan Capistrano case were to be validated by a court of appeal. And there are other appellate court opinions that essentially stand for the proposition that a tiered structure is a legitimate structure, provided that it's predicated on cost of service principles, which I believe is what you have before you now.
Carrie, please. Did you have other issues or questions? Thank you very much. With that, I will come back to the council and, excuse me, before I say, ladies and gentlemen, if you have some issues on water, getting up here for a couple of minutes isn't going to answer your questions, and it's hard for us to respond to you. You certainly can get back with the city water department or staff. There's other people can assist you with rates, not only at that, but talk about yours. For a neighbor of mine a long time was concerned about the rates in their water rates, found out they had a crack in their pipe. It was running into the ground. And they can come out and check on stuff like that. But you know what? You're right. The rates have gone up over 100% since like 2006, all by the Metropolitan Water District. Now, you say, who's that? That's Los Angeles. San Diego County is suing them over the rate increases, and that's part of us. We're suing them, saying it's not fair. But you're right. When you see 100% plus rate increases, and especially in a retirement community or retirement military community, that's a big chunk. As for the agricultural area that we're supposed to be in Southern California, I don't know how they survive. You can't water your avocado trees and make a profit anymore with the cost of water. I don't know how to fix that problem. I agree, all the friends are up there, but it's ridiculous. And Mexico and all the other places are doing avocados now. But what I'm getting to, I think everybody here is compassionate about your rates. I pay them. Everybody up here pays them. What our problem is, we're mad at somebody up in the Los Angeles area and we can't get satisfaction, number one. Now, as the city attorney said and the city manager, in order to get more water to you, including purple pipes, which is, a little different and cheaper, we have to get the pipe systems in, and that costs money. I'm not trying to give you a scam, but we've been complaining. As you heard earlier from one of the speakers, a lot of us have gone out to the Metropolitan Water District in person. All of these people from the water department, council members, we've gone up on bus loads to talk to them. And in my opinion, after we talked to them, they didn't care one single bit about what we had to say. And that's officials going up there, so I don't know what to do. Water is probably the most valuable commodity in Southern California for agriculture in particular, and it's being killed, and it's because of rates. I don't know how to fix it, and then as you remember, the rates cost from Colorado went up, and then of course we all know about the Sacramento smelt. That comes first before the water to Southern California. That's part of the big problem with that. I want some of these people up here to talk about it too, but we understand you. We don't want to increase your rates, but this is passed through. Somebody's telling us, the city, we have to pay this. Well, we can pay it or you can pay it, and it kind of goes out to all of you. So I'm sorry about it too. My mother's in her 90s, she can't handle this. My house, I'll tell you ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a big house, but I have a swimming pool. Add that to what you got in your water, plus watering your yards, you got to let your yards die. You know, that's not right. And what's sad about that too is everybody in Oceanside, when there was a water shortage, you all did what you had to do. You stopped using water, you conserved and everything else. And after you did all that, your rates went up. And that came from Los Angeles, not from us. But anyhow, it's frustrating. With that, I'm sorry, and I don't know if I answered your questions, but we'll go on. Councilmember Sanchez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I do want to say that this is a public institution. This is not private. We're not trying to make a profit at all. What we're trying to do is provide water, which includes water plus getting it to us, getting it to you, to the public. So I know this is a new idea about, and I think what staff's trying to do is say pay. It's this pay to go. Basically, it's trying to determine how much water you use, and then charge accordingly. In a way, it's not the complete story, because you just heard that there's a lot more behind that. While we tend to want to think about water as being a free resource, we know it's not, because it takes money to have that infrastructure. It's the transportation costs. It's getting those pipelines in. It's maintaining those pipelines. It's ensuring that we're not going to have breaks in the system, and it's ensuring that we're going to have a dependable source of water for the near future, for the future. We have set very laudable goals to become more independent. We do have, we are participating in a lawsuit against Metropolitan Water Authority, which we believe is charging us more than they should, because for the transportation costs, for the pipeline. We believe that they are giving a big discount to Los Angeles, and really, you know, it's not equitable. So we're hoping that, I don't know what the status is of that lawsuit.
Yeah, I checked this morning. That case is going to trial in December of this year. I think the briefs have been filed. There's summary judgment motion pending for early December. Jerry may know of, Councilmember Kern may know of the exact dates. I think trial's set for later in December, but there's a summary judgment motion, I think December 3rd, I want to say.
Actually, the first hearing was on Tuesday about what will be allowed and not allowed, and so there was like several motions, and the judge actually ruled in the San Antonio Water Authority's side about 90% of those. So there's a lot of, it looks very good, and I'll explain what the wheeling rates are and what we're dealing with. Right.
So we're hoping we will have, we will be victorious, because it seems very clear that it has been equitable. However, that doesn't make, you know, it's not going to make you feel any better, because we still have to pay the cost to get the water to you. This is a new system. And when we had the water, a new way of looking at this, and when we had the workshop, I did ask staff to come back with, well, you know, what does this really mean? Because we were talking in terms of theoretical, how this is going to be like priced in terms of people's usage, and yet we're still talking about these classes, dividing into these classes. So what does this really mean for somebody in Oceana? What does this really mean for someone in a mobile home park? What does it mean for someone who's carrying on a business? What does it mean for someone who has a farm? Because those are the uses that we have for our city. We have all of these uses, and we want to maintain these uses. So how are we going to do this? One of the things that you have been doing, the public has been doing, and we started doing this, is conserving water. Yes, it still is critically important that we continue on that line, even though it seems like you conserve, you use less water, and then why is my water bill going up? The water bill is going up because, number one, it's Standard Water Authority who's then buying water from Metropolitan. It's their costs, which are being passed on. But it's also our trying to maintain our system. But how do we, and yet you're still going to be, bottom line is, how much water do you use? There are certain people that can control that in a single-family home situation. There are certain people that can't control it, like the multifamily, like the mobile home park usage. Since we are moving on or looking at moving on to a different way of charging, which is pay as you use, basically, I don't think that everyone has gotten to the point of saying, you know what, maybe I can do things, maybe I can use less water. Maybe our association should be looking at transferring from like water-dependent landscaping to drought, to native kind of plants that use a lot less water, and therefore would have a lot less impact on your association, because you're not just paying for what you're using, right? You're also paying for your landscaping, for the common areas that you have. And I think that's really what we're talking about for those in the homeowners associations, etc. I thank you very much for to Mr. Lightsey for sending the letter. You know, I did get it. I did ask the city attorney about it and trying to figure out how can we make this, you know, it sounds equitable on paper, but in application it sounds like, well, wait a minute, you're treating me differently. So how can we do this so that it does feel like it's fair, even as it's applying to you, even as you're, you know, coming up on this? And I am wondering if we can do this in steps. I know that we have, and I'm very, you know, very supportive about doing, you know, having our plans for ag in terms of the recycled water and getting that, you know, making sure that happens. It is going to be a cost. We've got to figure out how we're going to pay for that. But how do we do this kind of, you know, in-between thing for all of us, especially for our multi-family, or I should say homeowners associations situations. And I am wondering if we need if they need more time to be able to transition into using less water for the landscaping, creating less of a demand, and therefore getting that water bill down. That's what I'm wondering, is if we can do this. We've done it in the past where we stepped into it, you know, like we came into this increase in steps. That meant it went like farther in. I don't know if this is something that we can do, but it seems to me that if we're getting our workshop was last week. That was the first time that people saw, you know, or knew that it was going to come to the city council. Here it is, city council. I think that we should give our residents time to adjust, to see how they can use less water. Single-family residents, I hope you were able to figure this out, is that you are going to get charged less. In some situations, your bill will be smaller. Some situations, it will be just incrementally, just a small increase. So it's multifamily. It's really, you know, the homeowners associations that have landscaping responsibilities. I know that Ocean Hills, for example, they've been working very diligently to, you know, go from, you know, high water usage for their landscaping down to drought-resistant landscaping that still looks nice but requires a whole lot less water. That's something that they decided to do. That was a direction that they decided to go in, and I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. It was a while, and it took a while. So I'm wondering if staff, if we can do this in steps. How could we do that if that was something that we were directing you to do?
Rob Grantham, Corolla Engineers. Thank you for your question. The primary increase is, again, on the pass-through, the purchase cost of water. So that's the real driver. I concur and I applaud. What we have talked about today is the reduction of water. We've seen San Diego County reduced water consumption by 25% over a 5-year period. In terms of the fixed charge, what we have done is we've applied it based on cost of service. What we've tried to do is better tie in the cost of having that capacity to the cost paid. In terms of a phase-in approach, we have tried to take that into consideration already. With the gentleman, if I might have heard the numbers incorrectly, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but talked about a $3,500 increase and 200 units. So basically $15 a year increase to each unit at that association. And so again, it's not a significant increase in terms of the fixed charge to the individual customers, but it does better associate with cost of service and the system for that customer.
To answer your question on whether we could go into a phased approach for this, at this time we don't have anything prepared that we could offer to you. What we could do is have that discussion when we do have the workshop on the infrastructure in January or February, and that's certainly some of the feedback that we want to get from council is what is the pace that you want to implement some of these programs, because as the city manager has mentioned, those are the things that are certainly driving a lot of the rates, is the infrastructure improvements as well as expansion of the system and recycled water systems. So I would offer that up as an approach to phasing in some of the costs that are coming in the future years. Thank you.
Councilmember Feline, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I certainly, since I've been on the council, and even when I sat out there as treasurer, the annual ritual is raising the water and sewer rates. Some of these things, or even most of them, are outside of our control. Some of them are within our control. The issue of the lawsuit and the transportation surcharge issue was mentioned. Our trips going up to the Metropolitan Water District was mentioned, and our pleas fell on deaf ears. Some of the issues are beyond the control of the Metropolitan Water District, and basically a water operation is overwhelmingly fixed costs. So you basically have to spread those fixed costs over whatever volume of water comes through your system. And so as we conserve for environmental reasons and also for individuals to try and get your water bill down, the water district more or less has the same fixed cost. So the next year when they see that everyone's conserved water, they then have to raise the per unit rate to cover their fixed costs, which they then pass on to us without any hesitation. The Metropolitan Water District has its own issues where, they've been quite extravagant with their salary and labor packages and pension packages because they're immune to public pressure. So they just pass it on, and we're the ones who hear the public when they're impacted by the bills that we have to pass on to them. Also, keep in mind, one of the reasons the water volume is way low is because of the water blockade that's taking up in the Sacramento Delta. That's a result of judges that are appointed by politicians that are put in office when people go to elections. So voters certainly need to take into account the people they're voting for and the type of philosophy they have in terms of whether or not they're going to balance out the needs of residents over the needs of some extreme interpretations of environmental law. And so that's, once again, the cost of that comes down to us. We have to pass it on. Now, in terms of what we can control, I'd like to follow up on the information of the issue of the Homeowners Association to the city manager or city attorney. Is there anything we can be doing or that we're related to the interpretation of agreements and the requirement to maintain landscaping to allow for low water use plants and landscaping?
Honorable Mayor, council members, I do believe, as Ms. Dale mentioned, we do have programs where we will work with homeowners associations to reduce the amount of water used to convert what had historically been turf areas to more drought tolerant, which would then result in the reduction in meter sizes as well. But there are costs involved in that, and we had to have, and I don't know if we still do have, grant opportunities that will allow that to happen. So and it's not just homeowners association, but even single-family residents have the ability to come in and work with water. We will do water audits as well to look at, are there ways of reducing costs and reducing the overall use of water, which then will result in the reduction in meter size as well.
And to the extent there are CCNRs, I haven't reviewed those CCNRs in quite some time, so I don't know exactly what they say with regard to landscaping, but we can always agree to modify them.
Right, and I would assume that there would be support from the city to, clear away any impediments that people feel that they're required to do, because obviously the environment we're in today is different than what it was in 1987, or when a lot of homeowner associations were created and our attitude towards green plants and lawns. The other issue, of course, relates, as was touched upon, is our capital expenditures, and I think it's important, as was mentioned, that, the public understand, we've received projected rate increases from the Metropolitan Water District where basically the sky's the limit for the next 30 years. It's up, 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 up. One of the positive aspects of your government in Oceanside over the years is that the councils have been unified in the issue of developing our own domestic water supplies and recycling and basically trying to get out from under the thumb of the Metropolitan Water District. But the short-term cost of that is we have to put in the infrastructure, and so that means for the short term, rates will be higher than they otherwise would be if we just did, just bought the water from Metropolitan Water District. But once that infrastructure is in place, our unit rates can be flat, and so we will eventually cross the line where for the long term, our rates will be much cheaper than what we would be getting from the Metropolitan Water District. So I certainly support going down that course, and I believe our colleagues do as well. But I want to make sure we get the maximum bang for the buck from our capital projects, and I would like to make sure that our water department, when we do our workshop in January, February, that for our major capital expenditures, wherever it's appropriate, we have a side-by-side comparison for design, build, and operate versus the traditional get some water bonds and do the work on an item-by-item basis, because we have to look at every option to save money. I believe the La Serena sewage plant that's held together with spit and tape would certainly be an ideal one for that type of comparison. And I don't know, whatever other projects would be appropriate, I think we owe it to our ratepayers to make sure we're looking at every option to get the maximum use out of their tax dollars. Thank you.
Councilmember Feller, please.
Thank you. We are and always will be a desert. If we don't water it, we're going to be looking just like it was 200 years ago. And if this president stays in office much longer, we may be paying for air. Some discussion that I have heard is the number of units comparing. We're now calling low units 5, and other people are saying used to be 10 was low unit. That's new?
The tiers that define the sewer classifications have not changed. They were defined in 2012, so that by ordinance, when we said 5 units as the end of one tier, for example, it was being interpreted as up to 5.9, so we defined it as 5.0, so that was the only change. That was the intent of the tier levels when they were first adopted. It just was implemented a little differently because it wasn't defined well in the ordinance, so they haven't changed.
And the unit is 748 gallons?
Yes, it is.
So, and how much is one unit?
How much is one unit costing? for water for residential is $2.15, which is the same cost that it was last year, that the first tier is not being raised.
So that 748 gallons is the equivalent of like 3 bottles of water, when you're having a, out in a picnic and you just take 3 bottles of water. And so that's a pretty good deal. LA is a lot closer to the source. I'm sure that Simi Valley probably, well, I wouldn't live there particularly myself, but I'm very familiar with the area, and they probably do get a better deal than we're getting down here. We're probably 3 people with their hand out ahead of us before we get it. So. One speaker suggested we have more creative ways of doing this. I mean, this sounds to me like you've worked out some of the creative ways to get to where we are. Could you expand on what might be more creative, or other than, because I just don't see it us not having a increase in water bills going, but I mean the way the environmental side of things are, it's not like it was 20 or 30 years ago.
That's true. That's true. As if you're referring to water sources as being creative ways to deliver water, one of the very innovative things that Oceanside has done that a lot of San Diego agencies don't have is the groundwater facility. The Mission Basin facility is a very successful facility that extracts the groundwater and purifies it, delivers it. It accounts for about 15% of the water that Oceanside uses and is actually the cheapest source of water. I would imagine when it was first constructed that was a very expensive source of water, but over time it's really paid back, and you're seeing dividends now for that investment that you've made in the past. The department has been working diligently at planning infrastructure that would deliver recycled water supplies at various locations around the city, and as the city manager mentioned, that there is a price tag to that. Some of the other things that we've been investigating are expansion of the Mission Basin facility, both at the harbor or the coastline, as well as we'll be embarking on a study this winter that will look at supplementing the recharge of the aquifer to increase the volume that's extracted from it. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. They do take time, but we do have quite a few on our radar, and there's a price tag associated with them.
The pipe breaks cost a lot of money. San Diego has a pipe break a day, I would imagine. We always hear about that. We don't have that here, but our most recent one could have cost us a lot more than it did. And could you just, because I think that's important for everybody to know, that the price of fixing these things on the run when we're trying to sop up the mess is just exorbitant compared to keeping up with the infrastructure.
If you're referring to the reservoir repair that was done, we estimated that repair to be about $75,000. I do believe it did come in under that, but I must say that any repair that occurs under an emergency condition is definitely going to cost more than if it was a planned repair.
Hamar.
The Hamar. Yeah. That was a sewer line break that occurred as a result of a severe flooding event. And that not only cost the city to repair the pipe, but also we had some fines as well as some other remediation that we needed to do, and other infrastructure projects as part of that fine, which far exceeded the cost had we repaired the pipe in the first place. So being proactive on our repairs and our replacements are definitely cheaper for the ratepayers in the long term.
And I think that is going to be discussed pretty heavily as we go into January. The last thing I want to ask about is, I said paying for air already? Yeah. No. Agriculture. I would like to know, because those people are, they would prefer to stay in business, I think, but if we price them out, I guess I hope we have solutions for their immediate needs, and maybe you could expand a little just on what you've said so far. So.
Well, as I mentioned, the rate that's available now is a rate that's available through the Water Authority, and so it's subsidized by all the other agencies in San Diego County because the board felt that agriculture was an important thing to maintain in the county. As I mentioned, the rate's $1.71 per unit compared to the commercial ag rate of $2.36 or the irrigation rate of $2.37. So I would advise folks to call our office to see if they're eligible. Most people that are eligible are already on that rate.
Okay. All right. I think.
And Honorable Mayor, council members, I would like to add, I mean, part of what you're dealing with is there is a specific amount of revenue that's needed to purchase water, use our own water, and deliver it. If you're interested in some reduced rate for agriculture, we could certainly look at that going forward. But what the result will be is you still need to raise the same amount of money. So essentially you would be redistributing the cost to other user groups. We certainly can look at that if that's something you're interested in. I would not recommend it for this particular rate increase, but if that's something you're interested in, we certainly should know that well in advance before we do the next series.
I think the most critical thing that you've said here is the availability of the recycled water coming in the back gate. And I think we should do our utmost to strike that deal. So, anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Kern, please.
Thank you. Just a couple things. I actually sit on the San Diego County Water Authority. I'm the city's representative to that board. So as far as I know it's alluded to here about the rate litigation with the Metropolitan Water District, about the wheeling rates, that's the transportation charge, how they've basically over the last few years have overcharged San Diego to the benefit of the other member agencies in the LA Basin. One of the reasons, somebody mentioned Simi Valley, and I'm not quite sure if Simi Valley if they're on the LA Aqueduct coming out of Owens Valley, or they come up through Metropolitan's service coming out of the California Water Project. Basically, water's free. The cost is getting it to where it needs to be. When you talk about the State Water Project, that's 440 miles of canal from the Delta down into Metropolitan. We're at the end of the pipeline. So it's very costly for us to get water into this region. I've been working on water issues since 1991. Bud and I were on a commission to restructure water rates back then after the 1989-90 drought, where we had to restructure everything. So, one of the portions of the rate litigation against Metropolitan is that they never give us a cost of service. I think the mayor alluded to their arrogance at Metropolitan, and it is very frustrating when you say, okay, you're going to charge us for this water, what is your cost of service? Please tell us. And when they say, we don't have to, we're Metropolitan. So, and that's basically what they've said. I mean, in legal briefs. I actually read my first legal brief the other day. It was short, I guess, but 50 pages long, our brief against Metropolitan. I had to wake myself up twice, but I can see why our city attorney always looks tired now. But the idea of us doing it, so the idea of the cost of service, they're overcharging us to the tune of probably a couple $100 million over the next 10 or 15 years. So if we can get that rebate, if we can get that money back, our costs will go down. The idea that Camp Pendleton sends 2 million gallons of recycled water out to the ocean every day because they have no place to put it. Now, we can capture that water, and we're going to try to capture it for agricultural use, but the cost is going to be to deliver that water, to build that infrastructure and those pipelines to get those waters to the end users. Now, the availability will be there, and some of the variability of costs will be diminished, but the cost is going to be significant. So the agricultural areas are doing the same thing as what people in their homes are doing. They're converting from high water usage plant to less water usage plant. That is why out there, the Beach House Winery and all those people are converting to grapes because they use less water than avocados. And that might be the trend now, that we've become a more of a wine growing region than avocados. And plus the fact that the imports from Mexico are so much cheaper now, it's very hard to compete anyway on growing avocados. So it might be something to do that. I am talking about being creative. Tomorrow I'm going to up to Newport Beach for 2 days about the Water Reuse Council. How do we get direct potable reuse water? To start looking at wastewater as a resource to create water that we can use, either through the purple piping or actually to convert it into drinking water. The idea that, we use water that's gone through at least 4 wastewater treatment plants before it gets to us, because we are at the end of that pipeline. So we are looking at being creative, not so much as guaranteeing a lower price, but to guaranteeing our supply, because we are very exposed to the variability of water. The number one water storage in the state of California is the snowpack in the Sierras. And from year to year, it varies widely. So if we have a dry year this year, we will be probably in drought mode next year. And so then we're going to have to adjust things. So, with that, I understand everybody's concern, and we tried the best we can. I know the Utilities Commission wrestled with this for quite a bit, and to come up with this, and I really commend them on their hard work, and I'm going to actually move that we follow their recommendation and introduce the ordinance, to amend Chapter 29 of the Oceanside City Code, establishing wastewater user rate increases, and the ordinance amending Chapter 37 of the Oceanside City Code by establishing water user rates and external providers increase. So if I can get a second on that one.
I'll second.
And then, as we go forward, I know there was some question there about homeowners association. As far as I know, the Santa Water Authority still has a water audit program. So if you're a big water user, the Water Authority will come out and actually walk through it with you to how to cut back on your water usage. Either it's timing on meters, timing on those, and then we are encouraging drought-tolerant plants. I've converted to drought-tolerant plants. My water usage in November, December, I use 2 units of water per month. And I live on a 1/4 acre. So I have no backyard, it's all native plants now. My front yard is probably about the size of the circle here in front of the council. So the idea that I've adapted, and like Councilmember Feller said, we are in a desert, and we have to adapt to living in a desert. So the idea that, we work really hard on this, and going forward, we're going to do a lot, but as everybody probably understands, when you deal with water, it's always expensive. The Poseidon project that's going to produce 50 million gallons a day of water from the ocean, they're building a pipeline now. We don't know what the true cost of that's going to be at the Water Authority yet. We haven't determined what that rate will be to pass through to our users. But what we'll do is have guarantee of supply, so we won't be as variable, that we'll have water within the region. But like I said, it's not going to be cheap. And so I know there was one question I really wanted to clear up, and that was the 218 question. Because we've been using 218 for years, and I think that's been pretty established as being the way that we do this in the tiered rates, and because tiered rates actually encourage water conservation. And I want to make sure that people understand that, the idea of, the reason that part of this is tiered is so we encourage people to conserve water. So, Mr. City Attorney.
I think there's nothing inconsistent about tiered rate structure, as I said earlier, as long as it's based on cost of service principles, and the cost of service principles have been established in the Corolla study.
Yeah. And then did you want to say something, Director Dan?
I do. The tiered structure is a best management practice that is highly encouraged to be implemented by the California Urban Water Conservation Council. And the state is now withholding or threatening to withhold any sort of grant funds for agencies that do not comply with these best management practices.
So, like I said, the first opening of the trial for our rate litigation against Metropolitan Water District actually went before the judge 2 days ago. The full trial starts in December. We should have, I think the judge said it's going to be like 12 to 13 days, so we should have some preliminary decision in January. But knowing how the legal system works, no matter what the decision is, it will be appealed. So we'll probably have at least 2 more steps before it ends up before the state Supreme Court. So, but with that, I think we've done everything we can to hold water costs down, and we're going to try to move forward and make sure that we do have water for now and in the future. So thank you.
Before we vote on this, I would like to say a couple things. Number one, I'm really thrilled with our city staff. We were lucky enough, and I mean lucky enough, to steal away our water director here from another city. And we're very happy, and she's very knowledgeable in all this, number one. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, we see people come to these council meetings because they're not sure or don't understand. We have a website. We certainly have staff you can call, get information from the web, ask questions on email, and or come in and see staff on any of your questions, or if you want to see somebody go out and check out your house, see if there's issues that maybe are underlying, like a broken pipe or something, when your rates go up drastically in 1 month. This might be a broken line or a broken pipe. They're out there for you, and you know, it's not that you have to wait until this particular council meeting. So that's number one. With that, I would like to say, let's please vote. Wait, skip the city attorneys over here.
Yeah, I need to title these ordinances. We actually have 2 ordinances, so one for the water, one for the sewer. I'd recommend we take them one at a time, but I would like the city clerk to confirm that we have no majority protest for either the water or the sewer rates.
Correct.
Okay. So I will go ahead and title the water ordinance. This is introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending Oceanside City Code, Chapter 37, establishing water user rate, external water provider charge increases.
It's for water. We already have a motion in a second. This will be for just one. We'll have the other one. Please vote.
Motion approved 4-1. Sanchez, no.
Thank you very much. And what you
Okay, the second ordinance is introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending Oceanside City Code, Chapter 29, establishing sewer user rate increases.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved 4-1. Sanchez, no.
Thank you very much on that, and I appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here for that, I appreciate it. I think we have one item left, which is items not on the agenda for the public. There's people here.
We had
I
one.
did it? I thought I moved it.
But we could stretch this out till 10 o'clock just to, since
Well,
Peter's
we're going to
meeting.
close. We're going to close on a couple of people that passed away. I want you all to say their names or whatever. But if you're students here that need your paper signed, hang on. We'll close, and I'll come out and sign them for you. Thank you very much. If we could, if there's anybody else out there, my concern was certainly for Angela Lawrence Stonebaker. Baker, she was on the Parks and Recreation Commission for 16 years, gave back to the city. I'd like a moment of silence for her. Jack, you had some, and I think...
For Dave DeAndrea and Bob Kramer.
Esther, did you have some too?
For Mrs. Escobedo, for Cousin Joe, and for Mr. Duarte.
Thank you. Moment of silence for those people, and we'll let you get going. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll adjourn to a council workshop at 2 p.m. This location, November 13th. And be safe. Oh, it's on the airport. Yes, sir. I'm saying that's where we're going to be here. Airport leaders. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe driving home. Have a good one.